Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to Numa Yoga. Today we're going to talk more about breathing, health, energy, whatever comes up. What I want to share with us more than anything today is core breathing or experiencing our three layers of the core and our breath. So in yoga we have three cores. We want to think of a pelvic floor, the pelvic floor muscles as the base of our body, the Muladhara. This is our root core. We have one here in the center of our body at the solar plexus. This is your Uddiyana Bandha, right? Uddiyana Bandha. This is our middle core. And then up here at above the heart and the throat, our throat center, our Jalandhara Bandha. So we have these three locks or these three engagements in our body. You can also think about these as like the lower lobes of the lungs, the middle lobes of the lungs, and the upper lobes of the lungs. And one thing that I teach in a lot of my classes that I work with a lot of my clients is how to do this three-part core breath. So we're going to engage each layer separately on an exhale. You'll engage and inhale, release. We'll do that to each layer. And then what we want to do is we want to put that together so that we can engage the lower layer, then the upper layer, middle layer, and then the upper layer is a, and then a smooth inhale to relax that. So what we're doing is we're warming up the core and we're working with our core muscles and synchronizing that with the breath. We want to train our breathing to come from low in our body so that the breath wave originates at the base of the spine and opens us up and lifts us upward, right? Our breath is this energy that lifts us up and keeps us upright. There's this wave within us. It's called your Uddiyana Vayu. This is this lifting up energy. So, breath is responsible for keeping us floating up and staying upright. It's responsible for maintaining a health of the overall organism, keeping us energized, keeping our cells all steady and balanced. So, this is a great practice if you have back pain or digestive issues or just want to change the way you're breathing. Let's start like this. Let's sit nice and tall, find a comfortable seated position. You can absolutely do this laying down. If you want to lay down on the ground, put your feet up on something or place the soles of the feet down with your knees pointing up in constructive rest position. Awesome thing to do for this practice. I'm going to teach it obviously sitting up right here. And what I'll have you do is either if you're going to lay down, if you're going to sit up, you're going to take your hands and you're going to feel down towards the base of your ribs. So, feeling with your hands down around the rib cage, your thumbs are going to feel towards your back floating ribs here. So, can you feel that with your thumbs? Can you feel those floating ribs? Nice. So, you kind of massage around there and you're engaging that, sensing and feeling. One thing that you might notice if you're sitting nice and still or you're sitting nice and tall is whoa, there's not a lot of space between the ilium of the pelvis and the bottom of your rib cage. And you may notice a difference between your left side and your right side. Like, whoa, my right side, those ribs are closer to the pelvis than on my left, or vice versa, or maybe in the front or in the back. But we carry these little imbalances, right? Where we might be pinching tighter on one side than the other side. And this little imbalance is definitely going to disrupt our breathing, but it's going to cause a lot of back pain and other mobility issues, as well as other energetic and mental health problems as well. But when we feel that with our hands, now, okay, we're bringing our awareness down here. We're like, okay, how do we breathe? How do I breathe down into this space? So feel a few times on your inhale. You want to try to breathe down into your thumbs. So you feel the floating ribs, especially in your back body, expanding with the breath and then contracting in. So as you inhale, you want your inhale to open you up out to your sides and then to relax down and in. So it's an in, ah. Right? As you breathe in, you relax down into your sides and you feel your side bodies expand. The ribs are opening. And then as you exhale, the ribs close. Okay, so you're feeling this at your base of your body. Okay, so what we're going to start to do here now is engage beneath your hands. So your hands are here on your ribs. And we're going to try to engage into the pelvic bowl. You inhale and then exhale. Engage below your abdomen, below your hands, and see if you can feel those muscles become active. When you inhale, think relax, 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 and allow the pelvic floor muscles, your low back, whatever you felt engage, release. When you go back into the exhale, you engage, and then when you inhale, you open. Right? Can you feel that? So as you're exhaling, you want to feel engagement in the pelvic floor, like you're squeezing a fist or trying to hug the base of your spine. And then when you relax, what do you feel? Try to relax around the base of your spine, relax around your hands, and you feel that open. Good. Exhaling, inhaling, relax. And if you have low back pain, pelvic floor issues, this breath is for you, just right here, focusing and engaging into the base of your body, slowly contracting. And real slow, you just relax and you're allowing breath to come in. Right? You're allowing the body to open up. Can you feel release of tension in the base of your body, your low back, pelvic floor, hips, legs? Where do you feel the letting go? One more time. Real slow exhale, engage. Take a pause at the end of the exhale and slowly inhale. Feel the shift, feel the return into a different direction. Okay? So now you're going to let go of the control of your breathing and just breathe. As you're breathing in and out, relaxing the base of the spine, relaxing the pelvic floor, and seeing if your breath can originate from here. So you want to think, relax this space and allow the sensation of your breath originating from the pelvic floor, base of your spine. Now, what can you let go of as you breathe in? Good. You notice your breath is kind of light and slow, body's relaxed. Good. Now we're going to move this up just a little bit higher. Now we want to feel and engage the space above the navel center and kind of below the center of the heart. So you kind of think solar plexus to navel center, this area right here. Is we're going to kind of contract this and then slowly relax this. Again, if you want to try this laying on the floor, this is very helpful to do laying on the ground. What we want to feel is the rib cage right above the navel and the sternum contracting in and then inhaling, allowing our rib cage to open. So we'll do this a few times. As you exhale, exhale, squeeze the ribs down and in, like you're hugging your center of your spine. And slowly, as you inhale, relax here. Relax between the navel and the sternum and allow the rib cage to open up. As you exhale, you're hugging your rib cage inward and imagine you're squeezing like the middle lobes of your lungs. As you breathe in, you're just letting this space relax, allowing breath to draw in and feeling the ribs open, feeling the chest open, allowing like an ease, a relaxation in any muscles that wrap around the ribs or in your mid back. Try to keep the pelvic floor relaxed and just feel the middle of your body. A few more times you exhale, engage and pause, and slow inhale, opening up. Good. You feeling that? Another time. Exhale, engage and hold, and then slow inhale. Return. All right, and then you're gonna pause and relax. You can just feel with your hands here, especially if you're laying down on the ground. You could have a hand high and low, or just rest the hands down. And feel the opening and the closing of your ribs as you breathe in and out. Right. What do you feel as you breathe in? Just notice the subtle sensations, breathing light and smooth. And as you relax your abdomen, as you relax your ribs, as you inhale, right, there's no effort. And as you exhale, there's a settling in. I continue to do this breath waves, just relaxing as you breathe, relaxing and allowing and experiencing the sensation. Breathing smooth, effortless. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to feel the top, our upper core, the Jalandhara Bandha, the throat, just below the throat center. You think about this like you're engaging the upper lobes of your lungs. So if you were going to squeeze the top of your lungs and try to engage inside the top of the rib cage, this upper small area, even into the throat. So try this. On an exhale, engage the top of the chest and slowly relax and breathe in. Slowly breathing in and letting go, allowing the top of the chest to open up. As you exhale, engaging the top of the chest, contracting in. Notice what you feel, and then slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe in, allowing yourself to expand, expand, expand. Good. You're going to do that again. Exhale, top of the chest, engaging, contracting. It's a small breath here, right? Not a very large space. So it doesn't require a deep breath. Nice work. Just breathing. One more time, engaging the top of the lungs. Slow letting it in, slow letting it in. And as you return again this time, then you let go. Let go of the control of your breathing and just sit still. Notice, sense, and feel. How is my breathing returned? What do I notice? It's the after effect, the echo. And I feel space, balance, release. Good. And just imagining lining the spine up nice and long. So you're sitting nice and tall or you're lying down very relaxed. And you got the spine in this nice, long, relaxed state. Even feeling your breath as you breathe in, elongating the spine, opening up space between the vertebrae, softening compression that's holding the spine down and together, and feeling some ease, some buoyancy, openness, just along the whole spinal column. And imagine relaxing from the pelvic floor all the way up to the crown of the head and allowing a light sensation of expansion. You feel the releasing, the lengthening, just following your breath. And then when you get back, coming back, let's engage into these three spaces. So when we engage one, two, three, and then slow let go, we're really building our skill of interoception, this ability to feel within us. And proprioception, we'll start to notice, more about where our body rests in space. So, two seriously powerful skills to grow wellness in our body is to know, how do we sense and feel this inner environment? So let's come back to awareness of engaging into the pelvic floor as you exhale, engage the base of the spine, pause, exhale, engage the middle of the spine, pause, and exhale, upper part of the chest, torso, and then slowly release and relax and feel one, two, three, opening up. Right? We're expanding the three-part breath. If you engage back into this, when you exhale, you want to engage the base of the spine, so below the navel center, and pause. And then exhale above the navel center, pause. And then exhale, top lobes of the lungs, top of the chest, pause. And slow inhale, relax the three. And you feel the layers opening up, right? We're syncing our core and our breath together to relieve congestion along the spine, to help resolve back pain problems, to improve digestion and posture. So, exhaling in this three-part breath. Exhaling from the base of the spine first. Exhale, engage the pelvic floor. Pause. Exhale, engage between the navel and the sternum. Pause. And then exhale, engage heart center, throat center, pause. Slowly release. The keys in slow letting go, slow letting go. Feel the tension leave the torso, allow the spine to grow long, and relaxing the back, relaxing the breath. You're going to go through this a few times, right? A few times. You try to exhale in these layers. Exhaling base of the body, exhaling center of the body, exhaling the top, and slow release bottom, middle, upper, like a wave. We're training our breath to come in from the base of our body, right? So you engage here first to exhale from the base of the body. And when you inhale, you relax the base of the spine, the middle of the spine, and the upper part. So the breath is coming up, energy's rising up. Exhale, engage. Exhale, engage. Exhale, engage. Slow breathe in and let go. Good. Once you've completed a few rounds of doing that, then you pause. You pause the engagement and you sit and feel the echo of the practice. There's always this little residual after effect after you consciously engage and work with your breathing, that when you sit in stillness, this world of awareness starts to open up and you can experience some tension that you're holding within. And see if you can sit and soften your breathing, soften your chest, your ribs, the pelvic floor, and allow the body to breathe. That's the hard part. So we did all this work with consciously engaging these spaces to sense and feel, okay, this is what my pelvic floor feels like. This is what my heart center feels like. This is what my throat center feels like. And now when you let go, you just relax into them. So think about relaxing the base of the spine, relaxing your lumbar spine, your ribs, your heart, your throat, and allowing the body to breathe. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to let go, and to experience? Like within this, when we start to really soften and settle, then we really feel these deeper layers of hidden tension. Learning to let this go is how we're going to move into, just age gracefully. If we continue to pile on tension on top of tension, then as we age, we're going to become more and more rigid, not just physically, but energetically and mentally as well, right? We all don't want to become the angry, cantankerous old hoot, right? We want to be the happy, joyful person every day. When we wake up, when we go about our daily lives, we want to feel this buoyancy, this joyfulness that just rises from within. And so, how do we create an inner environment where we just feel like this all the time? And our breathing is our way of shaping this resiliency and this buoyancy within. And it all comes down to letting go and surrendering to the breath and allowing the body to just experience. That's the deeper healing state of where we access our body's internal wisdom, right? There's a unlimited intelligence within us that can overcome or override a lot of these health problems that might feel like they're destroying our body, but it's something that we can overcome just by making some subtle changes, right? Okay, now that we're just settled into the breathing here, we're softening our body a little bit more. Stay nice and tall, or if you're relaxing laying down on the ground, you can stay relaxing on the ground. Is the best way to work on your breathing is laying down. I'm going to have you with your nose, tip of your nose, imagine drawing a circle. Like you're drawing the circle on the ceiling if you're laying down, or just in front of you if you're sitting tall. So, tracing a little circle here with the nose, think about orbiting in the back of the head, relaxing as you sit nice and tall. It's relaxing as you sit nice and tall. And allow your head to circle around, nothing to hold on to. Just relax your head. Let your nose circle, nothing to hold on to. Orbit the head, orbit your head. Soften your forehead, soften your eyes. Let your nose trace this little circle. And then change direction. You're going to reverse direction and start to go the other way. Roll your head the other way. Circling, circling. Relax in the back of your head, relax in your ears, relax in your jaw, your throat. Feel your heart relax. But you stay nice and long and buoyant in your spine. There's this ease, buoyancy, a lifting. If you're seated, your head's floating up into the clouds. If you're lying down, you're feeling tall, long. And you can still imagine your head up in the clouds, feet down on the ground. Good. Now you're going to bring your head into a pause, letting your nose rest back into the center. And when you get back here, then you bring your awareness back to your breathing. You'll feel that it's very subtle. The challenge will be, can you sit and stay with this subtle breath without grasping or breathing more, but relaxing into this light, light, light breath? Can you breathe light and steady and continue to relax and relax and relax into it? Perhaps breathing less, even lighter, even quieter. Subtle, subtle light breathing. Notice what this feels like. Your mind, on your body, feeling expansive in your awareness, relaxing deep into the body and allow it to feel open, very expansive. but light breath. Now, coming back, returning back to a natural breathing, noticing how the breath has responded after you feel or notice that practice. What was the shift? What do you feel within? What's your state of mind? What's your energy feel like? How does the physical body responded? And noticing some of these subtle shifts. One of the things that we want to build when we start working with our breath practice is our awareness within. So interoception, that ability to sense and feel our inner environment. And the more skillful we become at listening, and the more skillful we become at making the changes that we need to make in order to stay balanced. Tension and stress, injuries, illness, lifestyle, all create these effects on how our muscles are responding to our environment, how our breathing's responding to our environment, and how our mind is. Right? Mind rides the wave of our breathing. So the more that we work with it, the more we do these practices, we create that inner resiliency within. We create an environment that's tolerable to stress. Because one of the things, breathing is toning this really important nerve called your vagus nerve. It innervates all your organ systems. Every exhale, every exhale is stimulating your vagus nerve. But if our exhales are short and choppy and we're taking in too much on our in breath, then we're going to override the vagus nerve and we're going to stimulate the sympathetic nervous system and we're going to be stuck in this negativity loop of stress and overwhelm where we're constantly releasing the hormones of like cortisol and adrenaline and it's keeping us in this stressed out inflammatory state even if it's very subtle, right? It's very subtle, it's not noticeable, a little bit of overbreathing here, it doesn't feel like a big deal. Over time, like over the course of a lifetime, right? It's not a day, it's not 2 weeks, it's months, it's years, it's decades. That these habits become so imprinted and we get so used to this little drip of cortisol or having too much acid in the system, we just get used to that feeling. And the more used to it we get, the more reactive we become, the more destabilized our nervous system becomes, and the more poor health or dis-ease we experience. It's not that, breathing is the cure-all for all these diseases, but it is very much could be a cause. So when we eliminate the cause, right, we eliminate the cause of what's causing so much inflammation in the body, it could look like the cure. So changing our breathing, if you're experiencing a lot of health problems, if you're experiencing anxiety, stress, sleep problems, digestive issues, chronic pain, a lot of these can be cleared up just with your breathing because again, it's not the fix all, it's not the cure, but it could be the cause of what's going on. Breathing well is not an easy thing to do. Breathing well takes a lot of practice, but doing so is gonna make a serious change. It just depends on, like how much you put into it. But the more time that goes in, the more benefit that will come out. It's just like with anything else. If you put a lot of effort into eating well and to eating in the way that your body's designed and really listening, right? Really listening to what your body needs to consume for food and not paying attention to what someone else is telling you what to do or following some fad diet. That's just going to be a mistake for your body and where you're at in this moment. It's the same thing for breathing. It's like, what do you need to get you back into balance? Is not the same for somebody else. Everybody is different. Everybody has different metabolic requirements, has different energetic requirements. You know, what'll work for you probably or could work for me, but might not. It just depends on where I'm at and what I need to make the difference. No one's the same. But what really matters is that we all want to become better breathers because if we do, we're going to experience better health. And that's just the way that it is, right? It's the side effect. Side effect of good breathing is a healthy body, a healthy mind, and a healthy lifestyle. One thing that I recommend to all my clients is that, well, with breathing practices, what do you do? Like, how much should I practice? The best thing that you can do is to do about 4 10 to 15 minute practices a day. We want to aim for, an hour of practice total. If you can bring awareness into your breathing while you're in the car, you could get a couple moments there of like humming and breath holding. 10 15 minutes in the morning is 15 minutes in the morning is probably ideal, maybe a little bit longer, but you want to aim for getting an hour broken up throughout the day so that you're giving yourself these little reminders, these little bumps of how to come back into nose breathing, of how to come back into diaphragmatic breathing, and then to how to, you know, get the CO2 a little bit of bump back up so that we're constantly giving ourselves these little nudges of breathing a little lighter and balancing out the chemistry in the circulatory system, which is what all that really matters is that we get used to and more in line with building the carbon dioxide back up, not building it up, but building it back up because we used to be full of CO2. If you could remember when you were a baby and you were first born, you really don't breathe much. You're full of CO2. Like when you're in the womb, you're not really breathing at all. You're in a state of what yogis call is samadhi. And so it's this blissed out state and honestly, you're breathing barely anything in there, right? But as you come out, babies don't breathe much. And in fact, a lot of parents, when their babies are in their cribs, they shake them awake because they feel like they're not breathing enough. So babies breathe very, very, very lightly while they sleep. And you'll notice that. If you pay attention to an older person or someone that's really sick, perhaps dying, watch how they breathe. They're going to be breathing tremendously, labored, heavy breaths through the mouth. And that is the sign of body falling apart. A baby is a sign of absolute health and bliss and joy. Like there's no conditioning to the mind. It's just fresh life, fresh experience. No, no conditioning to the breathing, right? They haven't learned to breathe poorly. We just learn to breathe poorly as we age. And it's not our fault, it's just the way that it is. There's all this stress, all these challenges. Life is not easy. Paying bills is not easy. Stress is with everything, especially with how busy we make ourselves, with how busy these lifestyles are, and how much is going on. We're giving ourselves these little bumps, these little pauses, 10, 15 minutes here and there, be of tremendous value. Seriously, tremendous value in overcoming a lot of chronic health issues, especially like fatigue and burnout, anxiety, depression, mental health issues greatly follow our breathing. But they never arrive alone, right? There's no one just has depression, right? There's definitely other things that are going on, other issues that maybe we're not noticing or sensing and feeling or admitting to. But within, there's going to be several things that are out of balance. And it's all about just, accepting where you're at right now, understanding, this is just an experience that you're having in this moment. And then how can I start to make a change? What is it that I need to bring balance to my body? If you've had depression, I've definitely been depressed and experienced a lot of heaviness in my life. Uh, overcoming cancer several times and then having my motorcycle accident and experiencing tremendous, tremendous amounts of pain. And was definitely depressed for a long time and felt very stuck. But it's never always like that. You're never just anxious all the time or just depressed. It waxes and it wanes, right? There's days that are good, there's days that are bad. Sometimes when we get so used to the bad days, so used to the bad feelings that does just become the norm. You could think about it like a light switch. I flip the light switch up on anger. I flip it off, I'm okay. I flip it up, I'm angry. I flip it off, I'm okay, right? This kind of happens as you go on in life. Tuck, 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 flipping up, flipping down. One day that just flips up. and it doesn't flip down again. And we get stuck into these cycles of anger and frustration, and that just becomes the norm. So that's what we really want to try to avoid is like, whoa, when we start to fall this far into those imbalances, that's been becomes really hard to get out of them. We gotta practice some serious truthfulness with ourselves and take a look at like, wow, what's going on? How did I get here? But how can I start to make a balance? I want to make a change in my life, and how can I become more centered? And our breathing has is definitely the tool that'll reshape our wellness. It'll reshape our mind and get that chemistry back into center. Let's do one more practice today just to center ourselves before going off into the rest of our day, before I let you sail off into the sunset and go back into business. I want you to practice with me some alternate nostril breathing. This is a great way to bring balance and centeredness to our central nervous system. So, left nostril is your parasympathetic nervous system, and your right nostril is the sympathetic. So when you practice alternate nostril breathing, right, we're bringing that balance to the states, balance to the energy. It might feel like at first, like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. This doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. Just know that, all right, I'm making a difference to my nervous system, and just plant that seed in your head and believe that what you're doing is making a difference, because that's really the magic bullet, right? Is believing it. That'll help us practice it, and that'll help us experience the difference. When we start to notice the difference, then the big results happen, right? Then we can really make the change, because man, we're paying attention, we're sensing and feeling, we're staying consistent, and that's all that matters. Okay. So sit nice and tall, alternate nostril breathing. You want to bring your right hand up in front of your face. Three fingers point towards the ceiling, pinky and the thumb sticking out. You're going to take your thumb and block the right nostril and breathe in the left nostril. Block the pinky on the left nostril. Breathe out the right. Breathe in the right side. And then block the right nostril and breathe out the left side. You breathe back in the left. Block the left nostril with your pinky and then gently out the right. So keep breathing like this side to side. A couple key things that you want to know when you practice alternate nostril breathing is if you can feel yourself like drawing air in and pulling in through the nose, you want to see if you can relax and allow air in. So you relax your abdomen to breathe in and you allow breath in smooth. When you touch the nostrils, you just tenderly touch and exhale slowly and inhale. Gently touching the fingers to the nostrils, not pressing hard, nice and light. And you want to keep the breath slow and silent. The hard thing here is not to like draw and suck air in, but just to allow breath in and allow breath out. Allow it in and out. You relax into your breathing, right? Not forcing the breath, just breathing in and out, smooth and steady. Breathing in the left side. Feel the cool touch of air, right? Nice and cool. When you breathe out, there's the warmth. You block one side, you breathe out the other. There's that warm stream. Then you breathe in that cool stream. Relax, relax as you breathe in. Effortless, silent, frictionless breath. Exhale, other side, down and out. Alternate nostril breathing. You could think 5 seconds in, a little pause at the top, 5 seconds out, a little pause at the bottom. Breathing light. This breath practice reduces your breath volume stabilizes your nervous system. So you're balancing out the channels, left and right side. A lot is going on within. Just relax into it. Know that you're stabilizing energy within, bringing balance to the left body, to the right body. A few more times in one side, out the other. In one side, out the other. Back and forth. Smooth and steady. Notice friction, notice sound, and just see if you can find a way to make it smooth and quiet and without that friction. Excellent. Keep going. In one side, out the other. You always finish this practice breathing out the left nostril. So the next time you breathe out the left side, you bring your hand down and very evenly focus. See if you can breathe evenly in both nostrils and out both nostrils. Notice if you can feel taking an even breath in and an even breath out. And just sitting with that for a moment, allowing the head to relax, the temples to relax, your eyes, your ears, and your jaw, letting the whole face and head soften. Notice breathing a silent, smooth, light breath, light and quiet, and very even. When our nostrils feel even, right, then our nervous system is in that centered, balanced state. Not too much gas, not too much brake, the just right space. We call this being ventral vagal in your heart center. Even allow or feel your awareness to rest or sink down into your heart. We just finished the alternate nostril breath practice, and now you want to sit in that after effect and notice, feel the echo, relaxing into it, light breathing, silent and quiet. You want to feel the moments between inhale and exhale. These little bounces back and forth. When you inhale, little pause at the top, and then that natural rebounding into the exhale. And there's a little pause at the bottom. It's not bracing or forcing. It's just this little settling. And then you feel this natural rebounding as you effortlessly shift direction. So, feeling the transition in your breath. Subtly, you'll notice that when we breathe, we tend to brace and grasp for our inhale and our exhale. So if you can notice this little subtle space in between and stay relaxed here and allow a moment of pause and then a changing of direction. This is what really smoothens out your breathing. And you'll notice grasping at times or bracing, reaching for the next breath, right? If we don't breathe, there's a fear attached to our breath that with that next inhale, it's got to come or this life could be lost. And so there's grasping, there's bracing, there's holding. Can your breath be so smooth and quiet and relaxed It's just soothing, calming, full of ease. When we breathe like this, relaxed with a smooth flow, right? No sharp ridges, smooth way, smooth ebb and flow. And we're training the nervous system to be in this balanced equilibrium, right? Just sitting in this wave a little bit longer, a few more breaths. Feel your pauses. Notice that moment in between the transition of breath. Okay. Well, I think I want to do one more practice. One thing that goes well with alternate nostril breathing is called Kapalbhati. So strong exhale, passive inhale. I like to, again, use my hands. Whenever time I help my students with this, it's an exhale, close the hands, inhale. Main thing on Kapalbhati is passive, passive inhale. The hard part is not breathing in. It's just breathing out. The pumping action just brings air in as the way that it is. So let's try this. Let's try Kapalbhati. Strong exhale, passive inhale. Strong exhale, passive inhale. And use your hands. Okay, I'll start slow and I'll pick my speed up a little bit. You find the speed and pace that works for you. So let's start nice and slow. Take a moderate inhale in, exhale. Good. Now take a full inhale in. Raise the arms up. Pause at the top. Squeeze the belly. Draw upward, and then slow exhale, slow exhale, slow exhale. Pause. Sit in the bottom in a pause. No need to breathe, just be. When you need to inhale and return, inhale. Feel the after effect of the practice. Notice the energy within, the clarity. You can notice if your sinuses feel more clear, if your breath feels lighter. The after effect of these stronger practices, right? There's this sense of ease and calm and clarity within, very cleansing and centering. Notice the sensations that you feel as you return. That balanced, that centered, that clear feeling. There's always that ease of meditation when you step in, right? When you step into doing that practice afterwards, there's this ease to just be still. It's hard. It's hard to step into a meditation practice. It's really hard to step into a breath practice because the mind it doesn't want to sit still. It's hard. And so doing breath practices like that one, Kapalbhati, Bhastrika, Breath of Fire, Wim Hof method, they're great ways at bringing your awareness inward because you really connect to your breathing but you're stimulating your muscles and your body in a whole nother way. And you're changing the chemistry big time. Kapal body, not as much as something like Bastrika or Bath and Fire, or especially the Wim Hof method, but um, it's an effective way at getting you into that relaxed, calm state. And I will say, I love Wim Hof. I love the method, but I would highly recommend in practicing nose breathing only. When we bring awareness to practicing breathing through our mouth, that could become our unconscious default. And that is something that we greatly, greatly, greatly want to avoid. Also, there's a lot of pollutants in the air that could get into our lungs and congest our lungs and cause a lot of irritation and inflammation. So, if you do practice something like mouth breathing or mouth breathing practices, be in a clean environment. Be somewhere where the air is filtered and clear because you're going to bring in a lot of dust, possibly mold or mildew or any bacteria or viruses that are in the air right into your lungs. So that's the beauty of breathing through your nose. Your nose is the filter, it's the conditioner. It releases chemicals that protect you. It's your immune system. Breathing through the nose, CO2. CO2 is the body's number one antioxidant. So breathing through the nose produces far more CO2. The mouth produces none. Similarly, this nose produces nitric oxide, which is a powerful immune system booster, a dilator, right? The number one ingredient. I was just talking to a client last night, a friend of mine, and number one ingredient in Viagra is nitric oxide. But when you hum, you increase nitric oxide in your body by 15-fold. Nitric oxide is important for breath or for blood flow and dilating the circulatory system, relaxing the heart, and improving circulation. So when you hum, you increase circulation, you increase your blood flow, but you also boost your immune system, you reduce inflammatory compounds in the body. So it's a healing silver bullet. Breathing, humming, these are really, really powerful tools to create a shift within. And so when we spend time on them and bring them into a daily repetitive practice, we're constantly training the nervous system, the circulatory system, our immune system to be in just a healthier, more balanced state. And so that the body can carry about its duties, right? So your heart can do the things it's got to do. So your liver can do the things it's got to do. Your colon, your pancreas, everything within you is things that we can't control. But when you breathe well, you can influence them to work better. And so that's the power of your breathing. It creates an environment that just fosters better health, higher well-being. The more you breathe, practice your breathing, not the more you breathe, the more you practice your breathing, the healthier your life you will experience. And this is just an undeniable fact. I highly encourage you to work with your breathing. If you want, try some of my practices that I have on YouTube here. I got all kinds of breath work, all kinds of breath relaxation practices to get the body to settle, to get the mind to settle, and to rebalance your chemistry. So I highly encourage you to practice those every day. You can go back and watch this video. I'll post it. I do a couple exercises in here and talk about the reasons why. It's more important to understand why we want to practice breathing because when we do practice our breath work, then we don't know why we're doing it. We're just doing it. So it makes a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier to understand. Yeah, I'm doing it because I know it works. It improves my immune system. I know it improves my circulatory system. I know it helps my nervous system. All these things that are happening within. So, highly encourage you to find the breath practices that work for you. If you want to work with me and come up with a practice that'll be for you specifically what you need to be doing to make a change. Let's get together. Let's work on that. It's all within you. You got this. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you want to be here with me again, I'm going to be dropping these live videos all the time. So you can always check them out on my page, Pneuma Yoga. Keep an eye out for me. Follow me so you know when the streams pop up and then when to join. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing, awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.